Story time. So one time when I was at work, I had just gotten back from my lunch and I went to the bathroom and realized someone else was in there. And as I'm chilling on my phone on the toilet, I see the hand of the woman in the stall next to me. And I'm like, oh, she must need some toilet paper. Then I see she starts kind of sliding under my stall and I'm like, and she kind of starts to seize. And I'm like, oh God. And I get up real quick and I pull up my pants and I'm shouting, ma'am, are you okay, ma'am? Just hold on, okay, I'm gonna go get some help, ma'am, just stay with me, ma'am. So then I go find a manager and see him right outside the bathroom, and I said I needed help because there's a woman in the bathroom who just fell off the toilet. So he comes strutting into the bathroom and asks me what's happening. As I'm explaining it to him, she starts to stand up and he goes to help her. He then hands me his phone and tells me to call 911. As I'm explaining what's happening to the person on the phone, my manager tells me to tell them that she overdosed. The lady then realizes what's happening and zooms out the door. Me and my two managers have to follow her out to the parking lot. I'll post part 2 of this blows up. Part 2 of the time I called 911 at work, and if you weren't here for part 1, here's what happened. I was at work and I went to the bathroom and a woman fell off the toilet in the stall next to me and started seizing. But it was because she OD'd and then she woke up and ran out the door. Me and my managers then had to follow her out the doors, and now here we are. The lady then gets in her car and starts to drive away very slowly and very badly. As I'm still on the phone with 911, they tell me to describe her and her car, so I told them what she was wearing and her license plate number. I told them that she started to pull into the bank that was next to us on the right of the store. Then she decided to drive to the gas station, which was across the street. As soon as I said that, I saw red and blue flashing lights pulling her over. I hung up with the person on the 911 call and went back to work. Later that night, an officer came in and I showed them the bathroom where we found a needle cap on the ground in her stall. The officer then took my statement, and ever since, I've been scared to go to the bathroom at work.
Okay, I'm documenting my death right now, but there's a black van following me, and I was at Walmart and I got groceries and I got in my car and shut the door, and this lady came up to my window and she was knocking on it and she was like, hey, I really need your phone, I'm not okay, I need to call for a ride home, can I please have your phone? And I was like, could you go inside and ask for help? I don't want to give you my phone, I'm sorry, it's not personal. And she was like, no, they won't help me, I need your phone. And I started realizing what was going on. Oh my God, they're still following me. And I saw this black van parked next to me, and this man was just sitting in there. And I looked at the van and I looked at her and I was like, I'm so sorry, but I can't help you. And so I left, and I think she has my license plate number because they're following me and I'm freaking out. Okay, this is the part 2 for the van thing. I didn't call the police at first. I don't know why. I thought I would turn into my neighborhood and they would just leave, but they didn't. So that's when I called the police. And they just routed me to their police station, and as soon as I turned in, the car behind me just kept going. So I just lost them. I went to the police station, and then I got questioned a lot about the van and the lady, and now I'm home safe. But if anyone else is ever in that situation, just please go to the police station. Don't try and go home. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, that's it.
So when I was 16, I used to work in a grocery store, and we had one customer that always came in who was very obviously mentally ill. And one day I was bagging her groceries, and she said to me, don't you wish it was back to the cotton picking days? And I was like, And she was like, don't you wish it was back to the cotton picking days? And I was like, as in slavery? And she was like, yes. And I was like, why the fuck would you ask me that? And my manager was like, what's going on? And I was like, I'm gonna have to step away before I throw punch an elderly woman. And she was like, okay, go in the break room. A week later, we found out that woman had a heart attack and died. And I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
Story time. When I was 6 or 7 years old, I was really thick with 3 C's.
I mean, if I was a fruit, I was a grape. If I was a shape, I was a circle. You see this right here? This. So it was a time when girls began to question their bodies and stuff like that. All of my friends aren't fat, so why am I fat? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get on a diet. So for that whole day, I only ate carrots. But then I was so confused. Why am I still fat? I only ate carrots all day. Oh no, God, am I pregnant? My mom had a pregnancy test in her bathroom. So guess what I did? I struggled to open that pregnancy test up. I was so scared for my life. I knew for sure I was pregnant because there was no other way that I could be fat and not be pregnant. I took the pregnancy test and waited. To my relief, it said negative. I went to my mom, cried because I was like, Mom, I think I'm pregnant, but I think this pregnancy test doesn't work. I'm so fat, I must be pregnant. She's like, nah, you ain't pregnant. You just eat too much.
My daughter Savannah is the CEO of faking illness to get out of school. So when she does not feel like being there, she will go to the nurse's office and complain to them that she is really not feeling good so that they call me and I have to go get her. Well, one day after this happens, I walk into the administrative office and everybody is really concerned because Savannah is sitting in a chair like so dramatically like, hi, Mom. And like when I saw her, I burst out laughing. I was like, oh my God, are you okay? And everybody looked at me like I was some really bad mom. Like, oh my God, why aren't you more concerned? But as we were walking out, she was walking really slow and actually didn't look good. So even I was a little concerned. I was like, oh my God, honey, are you okay? Until we got to the car when Savannah looks at me and goes, you know what, Mom? I feel better now. And I was like, Savannah, are you serious? And she's like, Mom, do you maybe want to go to Starbucks and have like a girls' day? And I was like, honey, what kind of question is that? You know I do.
Story time. So yesterday my friends and I all went to the fair and there were 6 of us in total. And none of us wanted to have to worry about driving there and parking, so we just Ubered instead. So we left the fair around 11:15 and we walked to a nearby shopping center where the Uber picked us up about 10 minutes late. We ended up leaving at 11:30. We get in the Uber, the man says hello, and we head home the normal way. Everything's fine. And my parents don't like when I Uber, so they were tracking me on Life 360 from the moment I got in the car. After about 10 minutes in, I get a text from my mom, and it said, "Where are you?" I look up from my phone and I realize I have no idea where we are, and Ubers know their directions, they know how to take you home. We were 20 minutes out of the way. So I'm terrified. My mom's texting me nonstop, literally about to call the police. I'm gonna run out of time, but posting part 2 today. Okay, back to the Uber story. Our parents are freaking out, we're texting each other in our group chat so he doesn't hear us. Also, while this was all happening, he wasn't talking to us, but he had an earbud in and he was talking to someone on the phone really quietly. It was super creepy. My mom starts calling me again and he hears the ring. And one of my friends pulled up on her phone the directions to get home, which he also heard, so he knew that we thought something was off. After a little while longer, we finally know where we are, so we feel a little bit better. We were getting really close to the turn that goes into my friend's neighborhood, and we were thinking, if he doesn't make this turn, we're screwed. Thank goodness he makes a turn and we're back at my friend's house. But the scary thing is what if he was planning something, but since our phones were ringing and we had the GPS up, that he changed his mind? Because we were not going home. I still can't stop thinking about it. This is the one time Life 360 has come in handy. We're all safe now.
Hey guys, and here's a story time on why you should never get your ears pierced at Claire's. So last night after I realized the front of my earring wasn't in my ear, I decided that I needed to probably go to the hospital because it was looking like it was very infected. So when I got to the hospital, it really felt like my earring wasn't even in my ear, like it might have snapped off or something when I was sleeping, and like that's why I couldn't pull it out the bag. Before I knew it, the doctor came back, literally didn't say anything, and just tugged on my ear for 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden the stud came out, and that was it. So yeah, don't use piercing guns. Pip pip cheerio!
So, I always tend to try to be a nice person. So when my sister called me up crying, saying that she didn't have a place to go, I said, okay, sure, I'll ask my dad. You can come spend the time with us. She said, cool, thanks. So my parents are divorced, so she's my stepsister. My dad has absolutely no relation to her in the slightest, but him being a nice person also said, don't worry about it. You can come spend, like, the night with us, so she can find a place to live. That one night ended up turning into 3 months. So we ended up giving her a very good amount of warning. We ended up telling her when we realized this was going to be a more long-term thing, we ended up saying, hey, you can stay with us, but once it comes to September 1st, you gotta go. She didn't get that memo. So, T in part 2. So when we ended up telling her September 1st, she said, okay, yeah, no, I'll be out by September 1st. Turns out she was not going to be out by September 1st. She ended up claiming last month oh, I was never told, I wasn't able to save money. And I'm like, hun, you would have been able to save money if you weren't having sex with multiple guys in Indiana, Chicago, Wisconsin. But besides the point, she was also talking shit about my dad behind his back, even though he was letting her stay with us, but she has no relation to him. So, keep talking shit, but like, you gotta realize it always comes back to us. So she'd been saying a lot of really nasty comments, and I was getting pissed. So I told her, hey, you're gone September 1st. I don't have to deal with you anymore. She didn't like that. So she ended up coming back to the house September 3rd, stole $300 worth of makeup, and stole my cat, and gave it away. So who's the clown now? This is the real question.